Did we really?
On our YouTube channel, we just hit 100 subscribers. Well, actually, I think
What?
we're over it now. But yeah, we have 100 subscribers.
We have 100 people listening to our podcast.
No,
Yeah,
It's time for me to quit.
We have 100 people want to hear us talking about.
just shooting the shit about movies.
Yeah, exactly. and on top of that, I've been kind of like watching it from time to time. So this whole year, probably for like a year and a half, Pirates of the Caribbean swooped in, took the #1 spot from Leon, right?
Yeah.
But recently, Leon came back.
What?
Really?
Retook that #1 spot. So I don't know what's going on out there.
Interesting.
I'm so confused. I would love to know why they like that episode so much. I'm genuinely curious what it is about.
You gotta go back and listen to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually listen to that one again. That's been on my mind. My homie tonight, I was talking to him on the phone before eating dinner and everything, and he's like, I want to listen to your podcast, and I laughed. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, I want to listen to your podcast. And immediately, the first episode I thought it was maybe Leon the Professional. That seems to be doing really well. I don't know why. Other people like it, and so maybe I was gonna tell him.
That is a good episode though, but actually I think I was telling you, Michael, the other day that for whatever reason I went back and listened to the Twin Peaks episode, because that's just like one of our longest episodes, right? And I'm just like, I wonder if any of these actually hold up.
How long is it?
I think it's like 4 hours.
Oh my gosh. That's so long.
Yeah, 4 hours, 12 minutes.
That's what she said.
Started with episode 16, and I think that was one with Niccol on it. And so that was our 7th episode. And I need to go back and eventually get all of our episodes on there. You know, like our Game of Thrones episode isn't even on there. So I do eventually want to go back and add them all to YouTube.
What the hell?
Oh.
What the hell?
Someday. I just haven't had the chance to. Too lazy.
Huh.
Alrighty. So we mobbing it?
Let's mob it.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Aflixionados podcast, Triumvirate episode 58, and our final episode of 2025. We have a nice one to end the year with. So we, like usual, are available wherever you normally get your podcasts. New episodes dropping on the first Saturday of each month, 5 a.m. Pacific. If you enjoy our content, please consider giving us a like. All of our social accounts are bundled together for you in our link tree. My name is Eric, and the other voices occupying your head this time are a devoted mother of 3, lab geek, comic nerd, retired emo, tourist, my sister, and co-host, Stephanie.
Hey.
Also with us, a man of many trades, philosopher, charmer, future librarian, fancy mattress owner, coffee enthusiast, my good friend, former colleague, and co-host, Michael.
Hey, yow.
As he's over there making faces while you do your spiel.
I can touch my tongue to my nose.
He can, ladies and gentlemen.
That reminds me of the 21 Jump Street, where he's like, stop that, put that back in your mouth.
While shoving it back in his mouth.
And then when Channing does it, he's like, actually, that's pretty good.
I love that movie so much.
Same.
Here on Aflixionados podcast, we mainly talk about films that range from mind-numbing to mind-blowing, also covering TV shows and other forms of media. We will be getting into spoilers here, and there will be only the healthiest amount of expletives tossed in. You have been warned. If you ain't ready, then get ready, because in this episode, we will be discussing the dystopian science fiction film Gattaca, released in 1997, directed by Andrew Niccol.
So first of all, I gotta say real quick that I'm a little ashamed of this as a scientist.
Oh.
I didn't realize until I was watching it last night that all the letters in Gattaca are like the DNA nucleotides.
Oh, wow. Wow.
G, A, T, and C.
Mm-hmm. By design.
Yeah, by design. And it just dawned on me yesterday, and I was watching with Andrew, and I was like, oh my god, guess what I just realized? And he was like, duh.
He knew that, and you didn't?
Yeah, I know. Well, he said that when he saw it in high school or something, like in biology class or something, they mentioned it.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, that's not exactly common knowledge, though, you know?
Yeah.
No regular person is just going to know that.
Oh, I see that right there. That's the nucleotides.
Oh, that's all DNA.
That's all the fucking nucleotides right there. Of course. I mean, I look at that and I'm just like, yeah, Gattaca, of course.
Of course.
Easy peasy.
So this is Andrew Niccol's directorial debut.
Oh,
he would later go on to direct such films as Lord of War, In Time, and the Netflix original Anon, a film I actually enjoyed more than I initially expected.
Yeah, you told me to watch that.
I guess like a little bit cyberpunky, but it's a dystopian future sort of setting.
Another dystopian future. Oh, In Time is also, that's interesting. Yeah,
In
Justin
Time.
Timberlake, right?
Yep.
I actually liked
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Oh, I don't know if you guys knew this because I didn't know this going in, but speaking of the title Gattaca, it was actually originally going to be titled The Eighth Day in reference to the Bible. But by the time this film was scheduled to release, because it took so damn long to release, a Belgian film actually came out with that same title. And so they're just like,
That's
damn,
hilarious.
well.
Way cooler.
Well, I think Gattaca's better. So.
Way better. Eighth Day, come on. That's so forgettable.
Boring,
Gattaca
right?
is like, what the fuck? Like just one word.
And I think it fits the like futuristic setting better because it sounds it sounds mysterious, doesn't it?
Exactly.
It's intriguing. Yeah, you're just like, what does that mean? What you watch? How does that spelled? I remember telling my friend just before getting on here. He's like, "You guys are watching? I'm gonna watch that right now." I was like, "Dope! You're gonna love it, dude!" Like, and he's like, "What? How is it spelled?" I said, "Gattaca."
Something I like about this movie a lot is that it has this kind of like old timey vintage feel for being. It
does. Yeah.
You know, a sci-fi future movie.
If he made no other movie, this was his life was worth it for this movie, for making this movie, because it's fucking brilliant. It's hands down, it's one of the best. Oh my gosh, just that, like you said, that sort of almost like 1950s. What do they call that? Where there's a word for it, but where it's like what they thought of in the 50s that the future would look like.
Isn't it called like neo-futurism or something like that? Or
yeah, I'll buy it.
Andrew knows.
I think that's why I've also liked the cyberpunk setting so much as well. Often depicted in like was Akira and Blade Runner, Back to the Future 2. That's like retrofuturistic, you know. It's what was futuristic back in the day.
Retro, okay, maybe that's but very specifically, this is like I mentioned to my homie, it was like it reminds me of Dark City a little bit, where it's like old timey looking car, like from the 50s. So I'm thinking, meet George Jetson. It's like it's the Jetson style neo futurism or retro futurism.
Yeah, so like the very beginning, like it shows him, and at first you don't know who him is, but it shows him shaving, right? And then he's like filling his little fake fingertip with blood and putting it on and stuff. But here's the thing. Here's where it gets scientifically blurry, because blood would clot. Just putting it into that fake fingertip, it would clot unless you had mixed it with an anticoagulant. But with how futuristic it is and how advanced technology has become, I'm guessing that those little fingertip prick things, and especially since those, what do they call it, the ladder borrowers or whatever they call them,
borrowers ladders,
people know they exist, and so I imagine that they would have some technology in there where whenever it pricks the finger, it checks for anticoagulants in there.
For me, it all goes back to their hubris as being superior to other people. They don't think anyone would have the fucking temerity, the gall, to
the
even
audacity.
Try. Right. They don't think anybody would be willing to go through the pains it would take to do that. They don't think they could be fooled.
Right.
And yet
they're so dang smart.
Yeah, the arrogance.
Yeah, like how they keep mentioning, like they're not even looking at your face anymore. They look at you and they see me, you know?
Precisely, exactly. Like the detective is so almost like beside himself, like almost like asking, the younger detective is asking like for reassurance, like, so what would it, could anybody ever fool you? Like, how could, it's just, again, they're like, no. Then he says something like, well, we would have to measure, we would have to change the thing we're measuring them by, and it's like, you're not going to, because like Eugene says, they don't believe it. When they see you, they see me at this point.
The hurdles they have to go through to be able to fool them on a daily basis would be insane. That's exactly what he takes advantage of, is the fact that they don't expect him to do that.
Right. They're doing menial jobs. They're doing janitor work. They're cleaning windows. They're washing floors. They're taking out the trash. Yeah. Some ways it reminds me of Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, where certain members of society are just born lesser and they're given jobs accordingly to their lesser status. because they're only capable of doing whatever based on what society thinks about them, and also kind of what they're kind of capable of. But even these people, it's different though, because these people are obviously more capable, and that's precisely the whole point, dude. That's the crux of the movie. That's what really hit me hard this time watching it, was his humans, was the just that the human spirit.
That's really what carries him throughout this whole movie. Yeah. Because everyone else would have given up, but like that's what everyone expected him to do, and he needed to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Not more right. He needed to prove. He needed not so much to even prove anybody wrong. He says to him. He says, at one point, "Why do you want to? Why do you want to go in there? Why do you want to go there?" And he's like, "I don't want to go in there. I want to go up there." And he looks at and he points to that launch, and that's it. It's not that he wants to fool anybody. More than anything, he just wants a shot at what he thinks at what he wants to have as a life. He doesn't want to be relegated to just doing janitor work. He believes he could do more.
Kind of makes me wonder, now that you bring it up in that fashion, do you think he would have eventually gotten there if he didn't have all these hurdles to bypass? If like people didn't tell him that he couldn't do it, would he have had the like drive and the motivation to eventually make it up into space?
I think you have your answer. Look at Eugene. Eugene had everything. He had everything. No excuses. It's a heavy burden. Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
He was still only second place.
And he was still, and he, yep.
Second
and he
fiddle.
Wears that. Yeah.
Fuck. Stupid silver medal now.
Which he never got over. Never.
Right. It's almost like that was well, we'll get into it.
Well, yeah, we're definitely getting into it without the little backstory here, which is this is a world where every child is basically genetically handpicked to be perfect.
I like how they mentioned too the not too distant future.
It's true, because even then, I mean, maybe they existed, maybe not, maybe it wasn't public, but we have CRISPR, right? That's the name for it now, CRISPR babies.
Yep.
Where you can handpick the gene, you can handpick what you want your child to be like. You can remove any potentialities for cancer or heart disease, things like that.
So that's exactly the cool thing, because obviously they don't talk about because the technology doesn't exist, so they don't really talk about it, but they can, alter the DNA to make your child perfect. But now we know exactly how that could happen because CRISPR exists.
Right, exactly.
And the way that works, which is really cool, is that basically the whole premise of CRISPR is that you can, the kind of backstory behind that is that there is a way for the body to correct your DNA if it's wrong somehow.
Interesting.
So they kind of took that capability and realized, we can actually basically, for lack of a better term, program, these like segments of mRNA to find the section that's wrong and recreate it like this. So it basically cuts out the damaged part or the wrong part and puts in whatever the heck you want it to put in. So they can they can literally use that for anything.
So in theory, could they basically like take your DNA and then make a totally different person that has no relation to you?
That is a good question, actually.
If they edit it enough or modify it?
Maybe. But I mean, there is a whole lot of DNA in a person, so it would take a whole lot of editing.
Right. Pluripotent, omnipotent.
Yeah, so like it's really cool because, like in this movie, like you can make it so you're eliminating any risk of diseases and, the predispositions to cancer, and it hasn't really gone as far as like changing eye colors and stuff like that. But
that won't be far.
Obviously they're kind of focusing, exactly, and they're kind of focusing on, like the cool stuff like curing cancer or altering mosquitoes.
Obviously, it almost sounds like a given. Like, of course, you're gonna want to remove the possibilities of like undesired traits and qualities and cancers and diseases and stuff like that, right? So, what are your guys' takes on eugenics? Like, how do you guys feel about that?
I think that like it could be cool, obviously, to help somebody live longer, to help somebody like not have to suffer or something like that. But I know, I mean, everything gets abused. So it's going to be abused. And it'll probably be only available for rich people. So only rich people will be disease free and perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I think nature is we're always imitating nature. Nature is smarter than us, and I mean we've evolved from it. And I think that even the things that happen for reasons we don't completely understand, what is that TV show on Netflix? I used to watch it with Easton. Love on the Spectrum. Members of society that are more on the spectrum, I think we've evolved to have them there to teach, for us to all learn from each other, not just them to teach us, but us to teach them. And it's reciprocal. I think that there's a purpose beyond just, we don't have to just look at it like an inconvenience, or that this is something that they're living a lesser life or something like that. This is something that is, we all benefit from people being the way that they be. Even so when you ask that, I say, I believe let the chips fall where they may. To quote directly from the movie, he said, he says when his parents conceived him in the car, he says,
Yeah, at makeout point.
yeah, at makeout point, he said, a child conceived in love, they believe that a child conceived in love has a greater chance of happiness.
That's what I really like about it too, is Vincent seems like he has the rougher path, but in some ways he has a lot of barriers removed from his path because no one expects anything of him.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You have room to fail. We're human beings. At the end of the day, regardless of how genetically predisposed we are to perfection, whatever we're defining as perfection, we are at the end of the day still human beings. We live in a fallible world where people make mistakes. The sooner that we can embrace those mistakes and embrace who we are as individuals, because every one of those people is an individual. Not all of them are winning first place, right? Only one individual can win.
Mm-hmm.
But we can live a happy human life. So that quote, literally at the very beginning of the movie, it hits, man. Telling you that a child conceived in love has a greater chance of happiness.
So yeah, how we're talking about the genetically modified people and the naturals, or I guess like some people call them the what, god children or something like godchild.
Yeah, that's what she tells him. Yeah.
The most common way to differentiate between the two is the genetically modified people are called valids, and everyone else is an invalid, which is, it's such a fucking slap in the face, right? It's all derogatory. You're
Yeah.
invalid as a human. But here's what I thought was actually kind of funny, is that it's illegal to discriminate genetically, but yet they're still
But they do
profiling
anyway.
people by their genetics.
Metrics. Again, I wrote this down in my notes. It's going to come up again later. Metrics, exactly. On paper. But on paper, he's supposed to be, this person's supposed to be better. This is on paper. Metrics. Metrics are fucking bullshit.
Exactly. And they're keeping you specifically from getting these jobs because of what you are. And yet it's still illegal to discriminate. Like they're straight up just like totally contradicting themselves, blatantly discriminating at this very well-known company.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we're not going to let you in. It's just, why waste anybody's time? No one who's not one of us, no one who's an invalid could do what we do. No one who's an invalid can do what we do. I laugh because he fucking does.
Yeah. This could go back to just like racial discrimination, just for being what you are. This is just like a different version of that, essentially.
Yeah. This movie hits on some big themes.
How we were mentioning earlier, that the invalids, they're basically thought of as lower society, and they're only getting like the menial jobs, the jobs that no one really wants to do, picking up trash and cleaning windows and stuff like that. And the higher paying jobs, those actual professions, those are only given to the valids, and it's quite literally given to them on a silver platter. Like, remember that later on when he does the interview, in quotes, it's just a blood test or a urine test or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You passed, you're in.
And he's like,
Yeah.
so when's the interview? And he's like, that was it.
That was it.
Again, hubris. They think anyone who is lesser than a valid cannot do well here, cannot function here.
The main character's name is Vincent Freeman, played by Ethan Hawke. This is kind of like the prologue of the movie, but it's a little fucked up. So Vincent is conceived naturally by his parents. They get him tested, and they find out that he has a high probability of several disorders, and he only has a lifespan of like 30 years, right, roughly. And his parents
That is so
regret
young.
they regret having him naturally, and so they just fucking decide to have another child. They do it correctly this time by using eugenics, and that's where they have Vincent's brother Anton, played by Lauren Dean, and he's like the fucking like golden child. The parents love him so much because he's so good at everything. He's better at everything than Vincent.
It's yeah, I would say the parents do love him, but I think the mom has a special place in her heart as well, because yeah, the child was conceived
Mm-hmm.
in love. Vincent was conceived in love. I would say it's more like it stings the mom when she's laying there. They had obviously already agreed what his name would be, and it was Anton. And when they find out, of course, they know exactly what his conditions will be when he's born. And she's she's happy he's there on her chest. And then she says, what they say, what is his name going to be? And she says Anton. And then from the window behind where she was giving birth, he says Vincent. And she looks at him, and there's just this really heavy pause as she looks at him, and she's sweating, having just given birth to their child made with love. And now he's changing that. He's changing the name of their son. And then he says in the voiceover, that when he gets his brother, then there's a son that's worthy of his actual name, the dad's name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely never got the feeling that they don't love him or anything like that. And even when they're making Anton, he was all like, the dad was the one who was like, "Oh, can we leave some of it to chance?" The doctor was like, "Why would you even want to?"
Yeah,
Right.
it's almost like they were convinced by the doctor and like, no, this is what you want to do. Trust me, this is what everyone else does. They're deciding their destiny ahead of time because they have no idea how Vincent's going to turn out, and they have no idea how Anton's going to turn out. But everyone just knows that Anton has a better chance than Vincent does, and so they're already counting him out. Everyone's counting him out, and that's what's frustrating to him, right?
And it's the journey. It's the journey that brings him. That's what he has over the others. Their eyes are all focused on the future, on the outcome, and he isn't focused so much on the future, on that outcome so much. He wants that thing, but he falls down, picks himself back up again. He has to learn the hard way, and he grows into it. To your point, without himself proving to himself that he has the grit to do it is necessary, he would not have been capable of doing what he did.
And so, growing up, obviously, like they're going to be kind of naturally pitted against each other because Vincent's the older, and you might be able to attest to this, Michael, because you have a younger sibling who's not that far in age, and so I'm sure you guys like had your rivalry growing up, just the inherent brother rivalry, right? And so they also have theirs, and as the older sibling, I'm sure there's that added pressure of like being better than your younger sibling.
There's the height, even so simple as that. Remember when he's being measured?
Right.
They're measuring
He's
him,
not
and
as
by the age
tall.
of
Mm-hmm.
by the age of 8, he's already taller than Vincent was at 7. So I remember that was a harsh reality to have to come to grips with when I was in high school. My brother had a growth spurt. He became taller. Paul has been like, I think he's 6'1" or 6'1" and change. Either way, he became taller than me. And for all those childhood years, I was the taller one. I was the older one, and then all of a sudden, he passed me. So that was
Damn.
definitely again a something to come to grips with. Suddenly, although I'm the older one, I'm not the bigger one anymore, and not therefore you have to come. Does that mean I'm not better? I don't know.
Hmm. So how's their rivalry depicted in the movie?
With swimming.
Yeah, that's the thing that that's their favorite, is playing chicken. They called it chicken.
I feel like chicken is typically when you're like coming at each other, but theirs just competing side by side.
Well, right. Their form of chicken is who's chicken, who's
Gonna chicken out
who's going to
first?
chicken out. Yeah, who's going to chicken out and turn back? Because as he says, and it's so almost like poetic. I mean, it is poetic to a certain degree, just the way it hits. Each stroke to the horizon was one he'd have to make to the shore, knowing that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to come back eventually.
Yeah,
That's yeah.
and
Every time you're doubling the distance.
I don't know who's swam further than the breakers in the ocean. But I was really excited about swimming. I had injured my wrist. I wish I'd broken it instead of what I did with my ligaments in my wrist. But either way, I had to give up doing CrossFit style workouts in college and had to do swimming. Somehow it was easier on my wrist. It was just lower, no impact, zero impact. So I saw one summer in La Jolla, they were swimming. These people were swimming from La Jolla Cove out to these buoys and beyond. And I made a note to myself. I said, I want to do that next year. I want to be a strong enough swimmer to be able to swim to at least the first buoy and come back. It fucks you up. It pushes you every which way, and you have to kind of every now and then peek to see where you're heading so that you're not heading the wrong direction to the side or something. And you keep course directing. The long story short, I did get to that buoy and I did swim back. I learned a lesson that day. Everyone that swam out there was wearing fins on their feet. I did not have fins, and they all had an upper water suit. I did not have well, not water suit, but what do you call it?
Wetsuit.
Wetsuit. Thank you. I didn't have that. So my core temperature when I got back, I shook for like 10, 15 minutes. My core temperature had dropped so low. I was like, fuck, I might have died out there.
Jeez. I mean,
I have to be able to make it back. And I had to just drive with my will to get myself back. I didn't want to die. And I didn't want a lifeguard to have to come out and embarrassingly like save me from swimming from the buoy.
Plus, these are like kids, right? So
And they're fucking
they're not
kids.
even adults, but yeah, they just decided. I don't know why they chose swimming out of everything, but that was like the competition that they measured each other by. On top of it, from where they hopped into the water, there's like rocks and shit right there. So you're slamming into rocks as you're trying to swim.
Yeah, you're trying not to die against those rocks. It's very much Lord of the Flies-esque. Like you're risking it for the biscuit.
Unsurprisingly, Vincent is the one that always seems to lose when they're competing as young lads. But the thing is that, Vincent doesn't give up. He's still competing against Anton, even though he's been losing each time. And Anton just, that kind of like feeds his ego a little bit more each time.
Yeah.
He's expected to win, and he expects himself to win.
Every time, because he's been set up for that. That's what he's been led to believe.
I do like just like the little like background that they give on Vincent, because the fact that he's never going to be able to have a career in space travel, he still aspires to that. And he's just like, man, I got to figure out a way to get there someday. And that, that's all he wants to do is go up into space. You're inferior to everyone. You're an invalid.
Right.
And the sad thing is, it's like, not only is he inferior to society, but he's also inferior within his own family. So he can't really escape it ever.
Right. Exactly.
One day on any given Sunday, I guess, Vincent challenges Anton to a game of chicken, and Anton is expected to win, but surprisingly, Vincent beats him.
They're teenagers. They're like late, like they're in their late teens, like 18.
He finally gives in, and he's so exhausted he starts to drown, and so Vincent has to save him. So that's kind of like adding salt to the injury a little bit.
Mm-hmm. It's a pivotal moment. It's a watershed moment for Vincent. It was something that he didn't know was possible, but believed in his heart he was going to give. And it was that moment that his human spirit triumphed, and he proved to himself that he could want it more.
That very much was the turning point, right? Because Vincent leaves home not long after that. But the brothers also kind of decide amongst themselves. I don't think it's ever discussed, but it is just kind of understood that like they don't tell anyone about that incident, because Vincent, I think he got what he needed out of it. And he was also protecting his brother. So he didn't want to take anything away from Anton either. He was just glad that he got something that he wanted out of it.
Exactly. And it was a huge lesson for him. Interesting. 23 minutes, 44 seconds into the movie, he says this quote: "For the genetically superior, success is easier to attain, but it is by no means guaranteed. After all, there is no gene for fate."
Ooh, damn. So the question is to you guys, why do you think Vincent left? Like, what did the incident with Anton and beating him in a game of chicken, what did that mean to Vincent, and how did it change his life?
I think it meant to him that he could do it, whatever it is.
Yeah. Why stick around? Look, if you're capable of doing more than you ever imagined, if you're capable of reaching your dreams, why stick around there? Why not pursue those dreams? It's not so much that he like hated his family per se. I don't think that was a driving force. Anton has a passion and a deep desire to be to reach for heights that others didn't believe he could reach, not to prove anything to
Vincent
them.
or Anton?
Sorry, not Anton. Vincent wants to prove. He has nothing to prove. He just wants to do the thing. He just wants to. I mean, if anything, he's wanting to prove it to himself, and I think that's what's so glorious about it. He has nobody, since there's nobody rooting for him in his corner. The only person rooting for him is him. Yeah, so I think that's what drove him to leave. Look, if I'm the measure of my own success, and nobody here believes in me and my capability, I have to make my own way and figure out my life on my own terms. I've failed before. I'll pick myself up again, and I'll try again. But I'm gonna reach my goal.
You only really fail if you give up. And the fact that like he knows that he can dust himself off and keep going each time, because that's what he's always done. That kind of gave him the confidence to be able to go out there and pursue his dreams. Because from a young age, Vincent kind of always knew that he was never going to be able to achieve his dream. So why bother at all? He basically had no future, is kind of how he looked at it. But by beating his genetically superior brother, that showed him that anything was possible.
Yeah.
If you wanted it bad enough. And he did.
Yeah.
And so that was all Vincent needed, just a glimmer of hope. I think that's all he needed was hope.
That's it.
He could work with that because that means there's a chance.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to fuck around and find out.
You're going to fuck around, find out.
Speaking of failing, I think I'm failing, guys. I'm not going to make it.
Shutting down.
I know. Yeah, but feel free to carry on if you'd like.
I can still go. I'm feeling like Vincent right now. It is apropos stuff that you labeled yourself invalid.
Right?
Oh god, I almost chose Eugene as my name, and I was like, no, that's not me. That's not my
chose
spirit.
eyelash instead.
That damn eyelash that gives them away.
Fucking eyelash.
So you're tapping out stuff?
Yeah, I'm crashing fast and hard.
All right, for sure.
But good thing you have co-host number 2.
Hopefully we can cover all the bases that you would have liked to had you stuck it out.
I know. I at least got to talk about the science.
That's right.
Hey.
At the spaceflight conglomerate company known as Gattaca Aerospace Corporation. So this is years later. Vincent is now an adult, and he's like a cleaner at Gattaca.
He's a janitor. And I feel like the most important part of this section is where he's cleaning the window, and his boss is like, "Don't clean it too hard, Vincent." And he's like, "You'll be able to see me better when I'm on the other side."
Oh yeah, he was like, "Don't get any ideas."
That's it.
Yeah,
it'll be better because then you'll see me when I'm on the other side. I liked how he was kind of cheeky about it.
Yeah,
exactly. And he does see him on the other side, which is interesting. It's interesting to note that he does see him on the other side.
But he doesn't recognize him.
Doesn't recognize him because even they have the perception. They are limited even by their own thoughts, by their own fears. Mm-hmm. I could never. He would never. There's no way. He's like me. Right. He's a dummy like me. We were God children.
I almost think of it like Clark Kent, Superman. So, he's like nerdy and he's cleaning and like he doesn't look as put together as he does later on in the film, right? And so I feel like just taking the glasses off and slicking his hair back and dressing different, like he looks like a totally different person.
And he's taller.
Right? And he's taller.
Those extra 4 or 5 inches makes a difference.
I think they said it was just 2 inches.
Not even worth it.
Like he should have just worn the lifters, like he said, for 2 inches.
Right. But... some platforms. So this is we're gonna be seeing a lot of Gattaca. I think most of the movie from this point on kind of takes place here.
There or a little bit at like his apartment, I guess.
Right.
But that's
I really like the setting and like the architecture for Gattaca. and everything seems very like cold and sterile and not angular, but everything's curved, in a specific way. The whole campus is designed like this, and I thought it was an interesting decision for them to film it there. And Michael actually has a fun fact about that.
Yeah, this was all filmed at Cal Poly Pomona, or at least not all, but those exterior scenes are filmed at Cal Poly Pomona. I had a classmate of mine in college who, prior to going to school on the East Coast with me to finish up his college years, had taken some like freshman courses there at Cal Poly Pomona, and he bragged about that. Like, yeah, that's where that was filmed. I'm like, what? No freaking way! The buildings, it's just so retro futuristic, as some might say. Don't mind that. That's my spot of tea.
Is it?
I've got one of those fancy electronic tea kettles.
Oh shit! And you just have that in your room?
I just when you sent the when you sent the link, I was out there getting it all prepped. I was like, I gotta go to the kitchen, get that shit going, because I need some tea. My throat's feeling a bit parched.
Heck yeah. Did you guys also feel similarly about Gattaca? Everything just feels very cold, right? Sterile, not really inviting or warm.
Yeah, exactly.
You just go there to do a job. That's it.
Yeah, it's just all these angular. It's beautiful. God dang it! It's just these clean lines. I feel there's so much more thought put behind this than I'm even fully aware of. Even the furniture that they use at a certain point, I'll bring up later. Very intentional and beautiful.
And this is also where we see some of the old style futuristic technology here. So the car that Vincent takes to and from Gattaca is an electric vehicle, and he actually plugs it in at Gattaca when he's parked there. So
damn, that body style though, those fucking sick ass, almost like Porsche Roadster style fucking silver looking body ish, or black. They're black too, but like, man, fuck, so cool.
Like you're saying, like everything's just very kind of like sterile and clean, just like all the people that work there.
Yeah.
And everyone's dressed the same. Everyone has the same hair.
Yeah, very, very muted.
It's just all
everyone is kind of void of any personality, even. You know what it reminds me of? Have you guys seen Equilibrium?
I have.
It's like a very similar world to that.
Christian Bale, I know. I wanted to see it.
Equilibrium is the shit. So Vincent, he's adamant about working at Gattaca and not just fucking cleaning it. So he reaches out to a DNA broker, apparently, simply known as German, played by Tony Shalhoub.
A
young Tony Shalhoub, which is weird to see.
Yeah, he's sharp. Man, he kills it. God, he yeah, that guy. Talk about just people on screen that have so much charisma. He brings it, and it's not
for such a small role.
For such a small role, that dude, man, so articulate, so well done. He nailed his role for sure.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, interesting character. Even though like you only really see him for like that scene, but he's at Vincent's place, and he's kind of like scoping him out, and I think they're looking for the perfect specimen, and they can't just pick anyone. Like they need someone that he can actually kind of like make work. He has someone in mind for Vincent, and so he's like, okay, I think we might be able to pull this off. The person that he's gonna basically like, whose identity he's gonna have him take, is a former swimming star, Jerome Eugene Morrow, played by Jude Law.
I don't know about star. He only ever got the silver.
How dare you?
Hey, he got medals.
How dare you?
Oh, and I guess it's important to mention that he's paralyzed, so he's in a wheelchair.
I guess it's important.
He got hit by a car.
Details.
Small details.
Details.
Insignificant.
Whatever. He's in a wheelchair. Whatever. He's handicapable. Okay. Wheelchair. No, but yeah, he's in a wheelchair.
Hit by a car, and we will revisit that one a little bit later.
That's the key, though, is that the most important thing is that he was injured in Europe, so nobody in the States knows. They still think, I mean, on paper, he still is walking on both legs, no problem. Dang. So that's why it becomes...
They kept under wraps.
Kept it under wraps. Whatever happens in Europe, evidently, don't make it out here. As advanced as they are in technology and all that shit, no, it's just
anticoagulants.
That's all they needed, and then he would have been walking again.
They don't keep tabs on people from Europe, and they don't keep tabs on anticoagulants.
Who needs those?
So to me, it makes sense that they would cast someone like Jude Law as a valid. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, he's yeah. He's
Dude's
valid.
flawless already.
Dude's a specimen.
What did you guys think of like how they're going to basically they're going to give Vincent a makeover and turn him into Jerome?
Including, as we mentioned, his height, which required
Oof.
surgery.
Yes.
I have heard of people doing this. The short kings
Yeah.
out there.
It's a commitment. But yeah, so they go. What's interesting is how they get him to get. So they give him. He does simple things. What's I'm sorry. What's Tony Shalhoub's character's name?
German.
That's right. So German. They do all of the periphery type stuff. They give him a haircut. They contacts. They do everything that's real topical.
Teach him how to do the fingertips and the urine bag and
yeah. So they get everything. They get the commitment. So now he's kind of been slow rolled into this. So he's committed. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's one other problem when he's still holding the tape measure that he used to measure how tall he was with. And he's like, there's still just one other problem, and it's your height. And he's like, oh, I'll just put in lifts. And he's like, well, technically that's not going to work. It's what if you're not in those shoes? What if you have to be out of those shoes?
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that, he says. And I love how it's not, they don't treat us like idiots. They let us figure these things out for ourselves as viewers, right? So they just, I'm not doing that.
And then he does it.
But yeah, exactly. But they didn't go like, we're going to have to fucking cut your legs, dude.
I think the way that they do it, or at least like they do it in real life, is that they break your shins, and then they let it heal, and then it creates an inch, and then they break it again, and it creates an inch. It takes a long time to do this.
Nightmare zone.
Yeah.
No thanks. I almost wish I had fallen asleep after all.
I know, exactly.
I didn't need to know that tidbit.
For one, I don't see how you can realistically make Vincent look like Jerome. And to me, this is about as realistic as Face Off.
But again, they're not really fully paying attention.
That's it. That's it. It's. I think that's where it asks you to suspend disbelief just ever so much more, because it's angular cheekbones, relatively similar facial structure. It's like, who really looks at a face anymore? Is what they say.
The interesting thing is that the picture that always comes up anytime he's scanned looks more like Vincent, done up Vincent, than it looks like Jerome, like Jude Law Jerome.
So the funny thing about that is that ID photo, to make it so that way it does kind of look like both, they actually fuse their faces together.
Interesting. So it's like if Vincent and Jerome had a baby,
yeah,
it would be that picture.
They were like Trunks and what the fuck is the other character's name? And they do the fusion dance. And Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. What was your guys's, after the introduction of Jerome, what was your guys's impression of him? He seems like he's game. For me, when I first saw it, I didn't trust him. I was like, he's gonna fuck everything up.
It's not that I didn't trust him. I just felt like he had just given up and he was just going along with whatever the fuck. Like, I don't even care anymore. My life is over.
Yeah, he just felt like a loose cannon. Nothing really.
They do make clear that like he's a drunk. They have the whole scene with him like testing all the urines, and they're all full of vodka or whatever
for the interview, right? When he's got to go in for that.
There's more vodka than blood or than piss in this.
Yeah. I had one drink, he says. I have a drink, something like that, to celebrate. To celebrate.
Sure. And he's like, Friday sample is good. This is Thursdays.
Like he's hopeful. Yeah, that's the one. That's Wednesday or whatever. Yeah. Try that one.
That's the one. That's the ticket. That's like y'all, like you always send.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the ticket, John Lovitz. Yeah. That's the ticket.
We actually see like what the process is like getting into Gattaca and like all the shit he has to do. So he has to scrub himself down. That's cool because that shows the opener where you're seeing like all those like microscopic particles like landing on the floor. And so that's him sitting in like a box, like scrubbing himself.
In the literal incinerator, scrubbing himself down and then incinerating it.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to do that every day before he goes to work, just so that way no random particles fall off of him.
And then he has like little bits that he gets off of Jerome that he plants in his keyboard and on his comb and everything.
Spreading that all over your keyboard.
That's so weird.
But yeah, he does that. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because people see him cleaning up his desk and everything, but I think he just kind of comes off as a neat freak.
Well, he says cleanliness is next to godliness.
Right.
Yeah, because his boss comes around and he's like, "You're so clean, Jerome." Because he's there, like, literally vacuuming, like, tiny vacuuming his keyboard.
Yeah, before he even gets in, putting on the fucking fake fingerprint and then with the little blood in there and do the urine test. And I guess that was the interview, right? That he went to.
Right.
So he thought he was going to have to actually like talk his way in. And they're like, no, that was it. That was the interview.
Yeah. That's just, it's just interesting that how does he win? How does he get what it is he's trying to achieve? How does he reach his goal, his passion? He has to find the means by which he will be measured and use them to be able to measure himself and beat them at their own game. So he acquires, it's crazy because he, like, they're all their state of the art equipment. He knows he'll be tested by, so right, he's trying the P test, right? So he knows he'll pass it. So he's that's how he beats them, is he finds out how he'll be measured. And then not only does he have the equipment, he also possesses the knowledge and the desire.
And he has some skill too, because I mean, at some point they mentioned, like, he, he obviously he's an invalid, he's a godchild, but they say, like, oh, in a million keystrokes, he had not a single mistake, which means he's actually good.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Faked it till he made it.
Yeah.
All this is to show you that he's just as good as everyone else. No one wanted to give him a chance, though.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's outperforming. He's like one of the top performers consistently.
Yeah, they always say, like, oh, he's one of our best.
I did want to ask you guys, though, really quick. Have any of you ever falsified urine?
Falsified urine?
Like a drug test or anything?
I had to. They watch that stuff nowadays. Like, if it's not the right temperature and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're watching it come out of the urethra.
Well, right. like that doctor did with him. I don't know how he did that, though. Like, if he's literally sitting there, like, watching him hold his penis and pee in a cup.
His exceptional penis.
Like, tape the tube, right? Tape the tube to the underside. How the hell?
See, I thought he had like a fake dick dispenser almost, because I actually heard like you can get that.
Oh, so it's not actually exceptional.
I don't think he ever like whips it out and like throws on the desk when he gets home or anything like that. So I think that might actually be him. I don't know. But now we know how he got Uma Thurman.
Right? She was like, it is exceptional. He was right.
Damn.
That wasn't just the movie. I have falsified a urine test before.
What?
Yeah, for a friend.
Oh,
so shit. my friend, I wasn't smoking or anything, and he did smoke, and so he was gonna buy us lunch. I don't even know how the fuck they let him do this. It was like for a security guard position, and so we drove with him, and we just kind of waited in the car while he went in to go do his drug test or whatever. I think he made up some bullshit excuse like, oh, let me just grab something from the car really quick. He had like a fucking like cup or something, and he basically had me like pee into it. So I just went into like the little dumpster area and I just peed in it. Kept it like in between like the two pairs of underwear that he was wearing. He walked back inside, and then they tested that and it passed.
What the fuck?
Wow.
That's wild. I'm gonna just go outside real quick. I gotta grab a snack.
I forgot my ID, or something like that.
Oh, I forgot my ID. Yeah. Let me go grab that. Oh, silly me. It happens to the best of us. I'm human.
Yeah, definitely nowadays. Like, they make you, like, they tell you, like, don't wash your hands, don't turn on the sink, don't flush the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
Pee in the cup and leave the cup, and then go wash your hands outside.
Oh, it's a whole process. Pee, and it has to be midstream. So you can't get the beginning part.
Yeah.
Kind of swing the cup in there to catch it.
Now imagine being a girl trying to do that.
Yeah.
It sucks. So you're like guaranteed to get pee on yourself.
Oof.
Guaranteed.
But don't wash your hands. But you can't wash your hands in there.
That's right. God. And you still have to pull up your pants after that too.
Oh God.
Just saying.
From this point on, I just refer to Vincent as Jerome because he's more Jerome than Vincent, and he's gonna basically be this person for the rest of his life now while he's at Gattaca. So
Vincent is Jerome and Jerome is Eugene.
Eugene, yeah. Which I think is actually kind of a cheeky detail because he goes by Eugene, and the movie is about eugenics. Those bastards knew what they were doing.
Those bastards.
So everything's going well at Gattaca, and he's all prepared for the upcoming mission, and he's like, "There's no fucking way I'm not getting on the space shuttle, that mission to Titan or whatever," until a Gattaca administrator is randomly murdered.
He was the director.
The mission director.
The police are brought in to investigate. That starts causing a lot of unnecessary stress for Jerome.
Oh, yeah.
The unfortunate thing about this is it was out of Jerome's control, but his eyelash falls off nearby. And so that actually gets scooped up when they're like scrubbing the whole area for any clues, and they suck it up.
Vacuuming.
Yeah. And so they're like, oh my God, there's an invalid in here. It must be him.
Right. I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. But yeah, messed up, yo.
It is kind of strange that they can pick up on the fact that it's an invalid, but they can't pick up on who it is. I thought with their technology, it would have immediately just popped up like,
well,
boom.
They do. I mean, it did, because it comes up as him, Vincent, like with the glasses and everything.
No, it just says invalid, but they don't know who. But initially, it doesn't say, and I was like, that's kind of odd. So they're like, okay, so an invalid snuck his way in somehow.
Yeah, that's interesting. I when they do when it does come back and the younger detective sees it, there's a point at which Alan Arkin's character, who is older, been doing the job a lot longer, so just basing everything mostly on intuition, having done the job for so long, he it's interesting because the younger cop automatically just goes, yeah, no, I've no next of kin, nothing like that. And I remember thinking like, that's interesting. He's already laying this groundwork down. He says, oh yeah, no, it's nothing. It's nothing. This guy's nothing. And honestly, I mean, that's just bad police work also at the end of the day. Like don't rule out other potential suspects. Don't, but it's also typical. Yeah. I mean, it can be, it's in human nature to just be like, yeah, exactly. Like, oh, well, it's gotta be. And then you just try to bend the facts to be the thing that you want, the end of the story you want it to be. Oh, it's this guy, and here's how we proved it.
It's so annoying. Like, if you're ever watching those true crime documentaries, the cops are constantly fucking doing this shit. They're like, oh, it has to be you.
Right.
You're the one that makes the most sense. Why'd you do it? And, they try to just get him to confess when it's someone completely different.
It's easy to just,
rude.
Yeah, try to make it make sense.
Oh, shit. Isn't that how they get him? Where, Jerome, he's like drinking a coffee cup, and then he's about to throw it away, and he gives it to his old coworker who throws in the bag.
He was coming down the back stairwell, and then he happens to bump into his old guy when he was a janitor. He sees him, and he's like, and then he hands that over because the guy's like, I'll take that for you, Mr. Yeah. He doesn't call him Jerome. I'll take that for you, Mr. Morrow.
I don't think he does it on purpose, though. I think he's just like, let me throw that away for you.
No, he's being good natured.
Nice. And then
he's being
even when they take that trash bag, he's like, this is just trash.
It's just trash. Yeah, what the?
But
that's how
they
get him
in there. Yeah.
Yeah, they get the DNA test on the cup, and they're like, okay, so this belongs to Jerome or to Vincent, and he's an invalid, so it has to be him. So that's how they put that together.
He's still here. Look. Here's a cup with his DNA on it.
He miraculously doesn't work as a janitor anymore. So where did he go?
He disappeared into thin air. They said. There's no way he could imitate one of us. It's not possible.
That arrogance, yeah. Oh, and we do get to meet another valid, Irene Cassini, played by Uma Thurman, and Jerome actually starts becoming really close with her.
Yeah, and she helps him out and stuff, which is nice.
Even though she's a valid, it is interesting to note that she still has like a health defect.
Yeah, she has a heart condition.
They didn't find everything, I guess.
Yeah, there's still a chance that something will happen, and she has this heart condition that makes it so she'll never go into space.
Aww.
And then,
And that's something that Jerome like really empathizes with her. He can't tell her, but like he doesn't judge her for it. And I think that she's really self-conscious about it. She thinks less of herself.
Yeah, she gives him the hair and is like, run it if you want to. I ran you.
If you're still interested, she says. Yeah,
that's right. If you're still
you can run it if you want. If you're still interested. And then he just, holds it there loosely between his fingers. Oops, the wind caught it. So good.
I'm going to need another one.
Right now.
Cough it up. Reach back, pull another hair out.
Yeah.
Damn it! Like that.
Do it.
Do it.
I really liked the chemistry between the two. You kind of get the sense that they really hit it off, and that's probably what eventually led to their relationship, right? In real life.
Right. It really does. It's oh gosh, it's so lovely to see two people on screen that have real chemistry. You're caught up in it. Otherwise, it takes you out of the narrative. You're just kind of like, oh, this person doesn't really like that person. Like, Jon Snow and Daenerys. Jon Snow and Daenerys versus Ygritte and Jon Snow. You see it. It's real.
That's still real to me, damn it. That's still one of my all-time favorite TV show relationships.
Same.
And like the fact that they just spend more and more time together, and the relationship escalates further. I will say, man, her place is fucking sick.
Yeah,
she's like right on top of the crashing waves.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, I think that was like a big screen all the way around, because it shows her place from outside, and she's like on a cliff. Because remember, like after he wakes up and he finds like a hair on her pillow or whatever, he goes down and starts scrubbing himself with like
on
some
the beach,
lava rock or whatever.
No, yeah, he's on the beach.
And then you can see her house like in the background, like on a hill kind of.
Yeah, but I think that he's able to get down there to the beachhead. I think that her windows. I think something is because she hangs over. I mean, their bedroom, her bedroom,
like cantilevers over. I think
cantilevers. Yeah, for sure. And it's just floor to ceiling windows. It just clear. It reminded me a little bit of the movie Heat with De Niro.
Yeah.
De Niro's place. We got to cover that one too.
Yeah, but those waves were like right up against the window kind of thing. So like I think it was a screen.
I think it was like a reflection because the way the scene is filmed is it's upside down. It was just such a
cool cinematography.
Yeah, I love it. It's meant to make you feel, if nothing else, like this is special.
I think it kind of wanted you to feel what they were feeling, right?
Yeah.
Like you're floating.
The world
over
is
this
topsy-turvy.
Exactly, yeah. You're weightless in this moment, just like they are.
And what would normally be familiar, her bedroom, is unfamiliar to us. Any bedroom would be super familiar, but they're in their own world. And I think that when you're in love and when you're making love, you're in your own world together. So it's like that's what we're part of, in some way, upside down like that.
Yeah.
Fuck, I didn't even think about that.
That was a sick place, I will say.
Seriously sick place.
And not long after, we finally learn the real story of what happened to Eugene and how he got paralyzed. Because the story is that he was just being a drunk and he accidentally stumbled down in front of a car and got hit. But that's not exactly the case. That he alludes to something entirely different. He mentions only, like how you're saying, they don't spell it out for us. All he says is, "I wasn't drunk." And that was that. You piece the rest together.
I love it. Yeah, just allowing, what is it? Letting us figure it out ourselves. It's an intelligent movie, letting us use our intelligence.
He was just being real, and he was just like, "Hey, I wanted to tell you, that night I wasn't drunk."
It's something to be known, right? When you respect somebody, as he said before, "I'm proud of you, Vincent." It's something to be known, to be appreciated, to be seen. And Eugene has not been seen for so long, and here this person is pretending to be him, and they're so intimately connected with each other that they're he's getting all his bodily fluids and fucking hair follicles and all that kind of shit, all that debris.
Yeah.
And he has this burden of this secret of really knowing that he caused this himself, and sharing that with him, letting him into his world so that he could be known.
Because that's when he finally lets us guard like all of his walls down to Jerome.
Because he respects him. He respects him because he's doing more with less. Vincent, now Jerome, is doing more with less.
It's interesting because, I mean, the pressure was so high that that's how bad he couldn't take being in second place,
Yeah.
The investigation is still ongoing, and Jerome still has to repeatedly evade the police.
Oh,
and it gets more and more tense.
It does,
Yeah.
and it's like his bravado, his it's never like it's. I guess bravado wouldn't be the right word because that would mean like he's like gloating. It's not that. It's he finds such creative ways to be in a state of flow where he improvises. That's the word. I couldn't find it. It must be late. Improvises, and he does so beautifully.
Man, it gets like really intense though when they basically go to Jerome's place to investigate, and Eugene has to somehow get up the stairs and like
Oh,
meet everyone.
Why do they not have the freaking elevator?
huh. Yeah, huge oversight.
I was just gonna mention because I'm on my way out again, so I think I'm gonna call it.
All
And
right.
with that, I'll let you continue talking about it while I go to sleep.
You're gonna go put on your silver medal? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna go sit in an incinerator. No, I'm going Mimi's.
You take those mimes.
That's right. I have to work. I have to be up in like 5 hours.
Oof. Yeah, me too.
No me gusta.
Until next time.
Yep. We'll see you next time. And so they're like, well, whose desk is this? They didn't show up today. And they're like, oh, that's Jerome. So it's like, oh, let's go visit Jerome since he was too sick to come into the office today.
Mm-hmm.
They get there, and Irene is kind of shitting bricks because she knows that she told Jerome, to
You
just
don't
go
look
home.
good. Yeah, you don't look, Jerome. You don't look good today, Jerome. You look a little sick. You should go home. Like that whole subtle.
He got the hint. But the thing
Yeah,
is,
he
they were
gets
going
it.
to get home before he could.
Right.
They're ringing the doorbell, and like no one answers. So she's like, oh, I guess no one's home.
Yeah.
And then he actually answers it.
Oh,
Eugene.
just the effort that he was making to make this man's dreams come true. Like I dude, it was moving for sure. I remember I wrote down what drives. This is before the end when you start hearing a little bit more about his thoughts and how grateful he was to Vincent. I asked myself, what drives Eugene, like to be a part of something bigger than himself, helping a man to achieve his dreams. I said, Vincent makes Jerome better than he ever could have been. Vincent makes the name Jerome and the person that they believe is Jerome Morrow better than he ever could have been, because Jerome was so pissed about the fact that he wasn't the very best already, couldn't accept that he had failed before and pick himself back up again, that truly Jerome never would have amounted, the name Jerome Morrow would never have amounted to much more than just what could have been, but instead was now going to be was now living on through Vincent. It's like, so now it's almost like he's helping this man to make him better than he is, and literally better than he is, because he's climbing up the stairs. Why else would he do this, dude? What does he's gaining so much more by doing this?
It was a little weird though, like his little show that he put on in front of the cops with Irene.
Give a kiss or something like
Yeah.
that.
So in my lab, give a kiss.
I loved that he did. I loved that he did, because when was the last time he kissed a woman? A woman that wasn't a prostitute, because he alludes to that being something like, those are the only ones I sleep with, kind of thing. I think Vincent says something that to him about that. But to kiss the woman who he knows to love, Jerome Morrow, the Vincent version of Jerome Morrow, to kiss her and feel that dedication. It's not just a woman showing up to have sex and leave. This is a woman who truly loves him and is there to protect the very man that he also loves in some very real way, wants to see succeed like a brother.
It is unfortunate though, because this is someone that she loved, or she thought she loved, but now she's questioning whether she actually knows him at all. Because
True.
the police buy it, they leave or whatever, and then she's like, "So who the fuck are you?"
She already knew, and this was just something that finally was if she didn't, she could have left. If she did not appreciate, if she was like, fuck this, if she didn't truly love Vincent, she would have left right there. I can't believe this. He was a lie the whole time, and she could have stormed right out, and then the whole cover would have been blown. But she went with it.
The least she could have done was let him explain himself, right? And he
Right.
wanted to, but she wasn't really having it. He laid it all out for her, and he told Irene like, this is what the situation was. Listen, I'm an invalid. I would have never had this opportunity had I not done this. and I didn't mean to hurt you type of thing. Like, I wasn't trying to deceive you. Like, this is just part of the persona I needed to be in order to be able to get to where I want.
Mm-hmm.
No more bullshit. Here's a strand of my hair. This will tell you everything you need to know.
Right.
She reciprocates, the thing that he did, where she's just like, oops, the wind took it.
The wind caught it. Yeah, exactly. This movie is so rich. It's hard to even it's hard to capture all of it. He says this line to her when they're dancing, and they're both so in love. And he says, it's funny, you work so hard, you do everything you can to get away from a place, and when you finally get your chance to leave, you find a reason to stay. A year is a long time. And she says, not so long, just once around the sun. And it's like, he found his person. She accepts him. She's not going to get in the way of his mission, of his purpose, which is exactly what happens in The Alchemist. He meets a girl along the way, and she says, no, you still have to go. He's not going to stay. She's like, no, you have to go. You have to still seek your treasure, still seek your purpose. I'll be here. And that's effectively what she said. A year's not so long, just a trip around the sun, just once.
By this point, they confirm that they're so close to the mission, nothing is going to stop the mission. So that was likely why that whole murder happened around that time, was because they were threatening at that point. They could have still stopped it. And so he ended up killing them, so that way the mission would still continue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was revealed later on that they found out that it was actually the mission director that killed the administrator, because he had the power to be able to shut down the mission. And I guess that director, he wouldn't have been able to live out his dream either of seeing that mission go through.
It'd be another 70 years before such a trip could be made. Yeah.
So he ended up killing him with like a keyboard or some shit, right?
Yeah, smashed it bludgeoned him with it on the side.
I don't know. That's a strong ass keyboard, I gotta tell you.
Must have been mechanical. Hey, didn't.
So now that the case is closed, most of the police are no longer pursuing Jerome, except for one. We learn that younger detective that seemed like he was almost kind of looking out for him, like protecting him in a way from afar, that his name is Anton. So that's actually Jerome's brother, his estranged brother that he hadn't seen until now.
Yeah. It's interesting. He's not surprised when he tells him who he is. And he's just like, he only goes there because he's like, it's not over. I know it's not over. I have to go see this guy, because Irene is like, you don't, just go, just take off. And he's like, he just knows in his heart of hearts that this other detective won't let it go. He will not be done with it. And so he's going to have it out with him. And I think he knew intuitively that it was his brother. So he's like, this guy, I know, because he knows that this guy is going to chase him down. He's going to fucking reveal him. And, Anton cannot accept that he's beaten all these people. Look, you're in a lot of trouble, and I can help you, but I got to bring you in. And it's like, man, fuck you, dude. Like, no, you don't get it.
For one, I didn't see that twist coming, but I will give Brenda credit, because she figured out that was Anton when they're chasing him in that alleyway. Irene and Jerome kind of like hide in the shadows or whatever.
Exactly.
And so the detective, who we didn't know was Anton at the time, he yells out Vincent. And there's no evidence pointing towards that. Even his fellow detective doesn't know who the fuck Vincent is, but he yells that out. And Brenda was like, oh shit, is that Anton? So from that point on, that's when I kind of had an idea of who that was. But it was still a pretty cool twist nonetheless. And you start seeing the hints now, going back and knowing that that's Anton. You start seeing like little hints of like him trying to kind of like dig a little bit deeper while keeping everyone else back.
Yeah, protecting him somehow, because he saw him. He saw what he looked like. I think his name is displayed, though. I think he did see that it was Vincent. So, I mean, it doesn't just say invalid. It does say, I think, his name. So they're looking for this guy. But he not only saw the name, he saw his face. So he knows that that's what his brother looked like beforehand. And so I think that he's just trying to buy himself time to figure out if this is, in fact, his brother. And he's never come to grips with the fact that he lost. In fact, they're in that room there after he's telling him, like, I got to bring you in. He's like hell you are. He's like, it's not happening. He says, He says to him, I forget what leads up to this, but Anton says to him, "You didn't beat me that day. I beat myself." Vincent smiles wryly and he looks at him and he says, "Who are you trying to convince?" And he says, "Do you want?"
Damn.
He says, but he just says it so brazenly, so boldly. Looks him dead in the eye with
With
like what looks like
confidence.
tears, with confidence, but with tears in his eyes, but with like passion. And he says, like his eyes are glassy, not tears, but glassy. Like anger, passion. And he says, Anton says, "Do you want me to prove it to you?" This is that time where he says, "Do you want me to prove it to you?" So it's like, yeah, this is where they
One more go.
fucking one more go of chicken, go out into that fucking tumultuous, roiling water. This is water just like
Middle of the night.
middle of the
Like
night,
cold
crashing
as fuck.
waves, rocks, big boulders, not just rocks, big ass fucking boulders out
Yeah.
there. And they just start swimming. They're just butt naked out there, just swimming out to see who could swim further. And here you're thinking, oh, this guy's been swimming. We saw him in that pool.
Yeah.
We know that this guy swims frequently, and yet Vincent still pulls away and keeps pulling away.
I do think that Anton truly loved his brother, but I think his ego was still too fragile to be inferior in any way to his brother, and he just couldn't let that go.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like when these valids are modified to be better, it inherently also comes with some sort of like narcissism. Most of them are incapable of being humble.
Of being humble, but also of it just goes to show that him wanting to prove to Vincent that he could beat him was just a pursuit of his ego. This was a pursuit of him trying to prove something to somebody else, to get their validation. When in fact, Vincent wasn't trying to prove anything to his brother. Vincent was always trying to prove something to himself,
Himself. Yeah.
and only ever pursued his passion and gave his everything. That's the one thing that Anton couldn't give, was his everything, because all he wanted to do was look good to somebody else. It's another thing to pursue something for your own sake.
I think this is why this was kind of a sad. Oh, I lost you for a second. This is kind of a sad line from Jerome, but he even challenges Anton with this. He says, "Is the only way you can succeed is to see me fail?"
Oh, right, when they're back up in that building, exactly.
That's sad because that's all Anton really truly cares about, it seems.
Yeah, it would make it easier for Anton to sleep at night, to know that the universe was good because I'm still better than my brother, even though he's older, and even though he has a lot of heart and he got all the way here. It would do his heart good to know that, for not his heart, but his ego. That's all it is. Again, it's all about padding his ego, but you know your ego is not enough to motivate you. Your ego it will only take you so far. You're pursuing something for ego's sake is never going to outmatch passion, for the sake of pure curiosity, for the sake of the joy of the pursuit. But I remember he says, "How are you doing this, Vincent?" After at first he was like, "Hey, we should turn back. We're too far." And he's like, "No, we're super far. We should get to the other side." And he just stops him. He's just like, "How are you?" He starts swimming more again, and then he's still finally he's still getting smoked by Jerome.
Yeah.
And he's like, "How are you doing this, Vincent? How have you done any of this?" And he says, "You want to know how I did it? I never saved anything for the swim back," which is,
Yeah. That was the reveal, right?
I never, dude. When I first saw that movie, that was the line that stuck with me for the entire, ever since. That's the line. I never saved anything for the swim back. Fuck.
That's what I think is so interesting about the dynamic between the brothers is that everyone around Jerome has always tried to basically make him hate himself, but the only person making Anton hate himself is himself. He's his own worst enemy, and he projects and blames that on his brother.
Which is interesting because Eugene could have done the same thing in some sense. I mean, obviously they're not blood related, but Eugene, although he was jealous, he was made like a believer, just like Anton eventually got beaten into submission with,
Yeah.
to the point where Anton started to drown on the swim back. Fine, we'll swim back. So Anton turned around obviously he lost the game of chicken. They're swimming back to the shore, and Anton starts to drown, goes under the ocean, and so he starts drowning again, and is saved yet again by his brother, who's supposed on paper supposed to be lesser than him.
So with that line, the "I never saved anything for the swim back," that basically means he was prepared to die in order to outdo Anton, right? And I think while I like the sentiment of the line, I think what kind of took me out of it was that he clearly saved some energy for the swim back. You know, I mean, he never really looked that exhausted ever.
Yeah, he didn't look that exhausted, but he wasn't also swimming as frequently as that dude was, as his brother. I think for me, when I watched it, I took a little something different away. I could totally see it that way too. I could see what you're saying exactly, but I took it a little bit different. I took it like his will to live, his desire to reach his goal of getting to that planet, of getting to, sorry, the moon, the 12th moon of Saturn, was also his motivator. He believes deeply in himself and his passion, and that's also what drives him, is that will to live. And I think Anton loses a little bit of that, not unlike Eugene walking in front of a car. You've lost now. You feel your battleship is sunk in your heart, in your chest.
Being inferior, he almost values life more than they do.
Yeah, precisely, because he doesn't have to be bitter at life for giving him, perfection and then having to live up to it. He can be whoever he wants to fucking be. It's been said before. Studies have shown, well, that negative thinking, any kind of negative thought weakens your muscles, weakens the muscle. And so I can only imagine that as well, that's happening to Anton as he's swimming back. His heart's a little broken because he lost when he thought he should have won. He's failing, and he doesn't know, just like Eugene, does not know how to deal with his own failure. He's been haunted by it ever since his brother beat him. So he's failed, and he doesn't know how to deal with it. So he's got his own negative thoughts about himself, and he loses his own muscle strength. Whereas Jerome, or Vincent, never loses faith in himself and continues to push forward.
And it gets even more emotional after that too. So you would hope he buried the hatchet with his brother, and maybe he'll start respecting him more, and maybe he'll learn to move past that and not be a slave to his own ego anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And this is launch day, so this is the last time that Eugene and Jerome are ever going to interact. Eugene's kind of revealing that he stored all those DNA samples, the pee, the blood, hair, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the hair comes later, but he gives him like that little envelope and says, "Don't open this until after you've launched." He's showing him like the refrigerator, and he's like, "Listen, all this is going to be here waiting for you when you get back. It's enough for a couple lifetimes," as Steph was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you should be set. That's when he was asking, like, "Where are you going?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go do my own thing or whatever."
I'm gonna go on travels too. He says, I'm gonna go traveling too.
Exactly. He's lying to him, but we don't know that at the time. And so I think he doesn't want to ruin that moment for Jerome. So he's just like, "Go up, do your thing, just keep living that dream."
He says to him, he thanks him. I think Vincent thanks him, and he says, "I got the better end of the Eugene says, I got the better end of the deal. I only lent you my body. You lent me your dream." And it reminded me, when he said that, it reminded me of a quote from Oscar Wilde that when I was in my early 20s, I posted I think I posted it to Facebook I don't remember what it was called then, but you could have a quote under your name or whatever. And I chose that, and I wanted to sound all fucking like I was somebody, like I knew some things. And I don't think I'd even really read much Oscar Wilde at the time. But the quote stuck with me. It hit me right between the eyes, hit me in the heart, actually, right in the chest. Oscar Wilde's quote says, "To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist. That is all. To live is the rarest thing in the world." Vincent lives. He lived. Eugene just existed. He's just going through life. He's just using the wheelchair, just bitter at the world for things. And that's all.
Yeah.
No dream to pursue. Once he didn't get first place swimming, no dream to pursue.
Jerome was going to be okay. He helped him get this far, and his job was over.
And he certainly didn't want to be the thing that held him back, so that's why he gave him 2 lifetimes worth.
Yeah, he wanted to make sure he was taken care of, and he says goodbye to Eugene, and then he also says goodbye for now to Irene. And you know, it's just the once around the sun. It's not that long. So go ahead and do your thing. And so everything is kind of lining up. And Jerome, all he needs to do is get on that shuttle. But he runs into one more fucking hurdle at the very end, at the finish line. And I was like, damn, like
a little.
I almost thought that I was like, don't fucking do this shit. I thought he was going to get arrested or whatever here. And like, he was going to be like that close and not make it.
Another gotcha.
He has to do another P test right before boarding for whatever reason, even though he's like made it into the building already and he's doing his thing. But
yeah,
just before you get on the shuttle, we need one more P test just to make sure. Jerome knows that he's dead to rights because he didn't bring any P with him. So he's just like, fuck. And so this was kind of an interesting concept that they did here because they essentially have Jerome kind of like saying a sentence while the doctor is saying his own sentence, and they're kind of like talking over each other. Did you notice that? They're not responding to each other. They're saying entirely different things, but they're not hearing each other.
He's like, I tried. I was with the best of them. You know.
If you didn't do this, no one would have been the wiser. You know, I would have gone up there, came back, and you know, no one would have been the wiser. No one would have known. And then as he's saying that, the doctor is trying to tell him something, but he wasn't picking up on it. He was just like, listen, so my son, you know, my son, we did the whole, what's it called? Like the DNA modification or whatever, the eugenics. And, you know, he still has like this defect, this health defect. And everyone kind of counted him out. They're saying that he's not really going to be able to amount to much of anything. Then there's you.
He's your biggest fan.
And he's not understanding what it is that the doctor is trying to tell him, right?
Yeah.
The doctor runs the test and it comes out invalid. It's Vincent, right? And Jerome's just like, fuck. All right. Well, you know, I tried. I gave it my best shot. But then the doctor stops him and he's just like, that's really an exceptional penis you got there. So I'm going to let you, you know, just kidding.
Yeah. Get on a bet.
A lot of people are going to count out my son because of what he is, not because of who he is. And you've really kind of shown me that there's hope for people like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he overrides the result, right? He's like, valid.
Brings it right back. Yeah. Man, that was so. But he had known all along, right? Because then he says what he says.
Dr. Lamar, that's his name.
Yeah, Dr. Lamar's like, just food for thought, or what does he say? Something like, oh, by the way, you know, right-handed people. How does he say it?
Don't hold it with their left hand.
Right. It's just a thing. Just a minor detail that again, for somebody who had meticulously looked over all those other details, he just missed one.
Yeah.
One other big one like that. Not just looking up at the sky at the launches and stuff when Irene caught him looking. But also when he's peeing. Yeah. And think about that and he's like, just no big deal.
He's like, most people hold it with their right, but with what you're packing, you're gonna need both hands.
You're gonna need to just
Again, he just like keeps talking about it.
That donkey hung like a horse.
A horse would be jealous.
A horse would blush.
So the doctor changes the test results and allows Jerome to pass. So he finally gets on the shuttle.
Yeah.
And as the rocket launches, Jerome opens the note, finally, that Eugene gave him and told him not to open it until after launch. So he opens it and he finds like
a lock of his hair.
A lock of Eugene's hair. So just in case he ever needs to use it or plant it or whatever the fuck, right? Man, this was kind of sad, but it was a fitting end because this is just kind of a sad dystopia that they live in. But Eugene, you know, he throws on his silver medal, hops into the incinerator, and ignites it.
As Vincent is now launching. I thought that was a really great juxtaposition for that to happen at the same time.
Yeah, it's bittersweet.
They both have their release. He gets to achieve his dream, and Eugene gets to sort of achieve his dream and be released from the pain of this life.
Right, exactly. It's sad for us, but I think it was better for Eugene in the end.
He's exactly his quality of life. He's suffering, and boy, ultimately, it's like it's all about how you perceive the world. It's all about how your mindset, right? And if you can't change that mindset, then you continue to suffer. It's like I'm sure I've said this before, but it's like the Buddhists believe that, on one side of the coin is change, and on the other side of the coin is pain. And with change always comes pain, like failing at swimming, getting first place, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the mindset piece, well, if you learn to accept the change, then you stop suffering ultimately.
That's what I really liked about this film, honestly, is just the will to live and the will to keep going.
The will to just enjoy this fucking life to the fullest, to just chase it, to throw caution to the wind, to see it as more important to pursue that goal than to allow our fears to hold us back. Look, if Vincent didn't want to, if Vincent allowed his fears of failure to hold him back, or failure, not just failure, but of getting caught, um, he would never have stepped 1 foot forward to achieve his goal. What he wants, he goes after.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. And that is a wrap on Gattaca and a wrap on 2025.
Yeah.
If you made it to the end of our podcast, then you finally made it to Saturn's moon Titan.
Hey, welcome. Velkommen.
Yeah, any final thoughts or closing comments?
As soon as that movie ended, I was like, I'm buying the 4K Blu-ray version of it. I've got to have it, dude. This is such an impactful movie. It hit me so hard last night. There were several times I was crying, just like, fuck, these realizations, these deep things. I mean, I'm I'm back in therapy again, so I'm talking to a therapist, and I'm trying to work through some shit myself. I'm journaling a lot more. I'm trying so desperately to understand my own purpose and pursuing that as well, not just thinking about things, but taking actions to do that, but processing it all and trying. And that's why I was bringing up music before, because I know that that's the signal for me. No matter what, whenever I go toward music, that's my passion, and it comes so natural. And it's something that for Vincent, he was a natural when it came, like, not just a natural, but he worked hard at it too. We all have to start somewhere, and but it's all about the grit, about getting there, about putting consistency. And that's what Vincent showed me. So in some ways it was almost like this movie talking to me from my past in my present again.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm glad I was reminded of Gattaca. I know that this movie, I don't think it did well in the box office, and I think it just kind of came and went.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a unique movie that actually had a really interesting premise, and unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people didn't really give it a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why it doesn't get talked about more. I wonder if, like, maybe at that time the general public didn't quite understand it, so they weren't interested.
I think, yeah, I'd be curious to know why perhaps that was. Look, I'll say this. Simply put, it was ahead of its time. It was ahead of its time. Sometimes artists are just ahead of their time, Picasso or Van Gogh, or you know what I mean? These people were ahead of their time. People didn't fully appreciate them till much later. Monet. Yeah, it was futuristic. Maybe some people didn't like it. Maybe people didn't like the coldness. Look, it's not. It doesn't appeal to the masses. It's not your typical blockbuster type of movie. It's a thinking person's movie. It's somebody, again, who's comfortable with dealing with some uncomfortable emotions and willing to go there, because you only get from it what you put into it.
Let's not forget that this movie also gave us Maya Hawke.
Oh, exactly. Who I haven't really seen act at all yet, because I didn't watch Stranger Things. But yeah, everyone tells me she's really good.
Yeah, I like her. Yeah. She was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She was one of the Manson family girls.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I didn't
Which, I mean, that was some awesome casting. They had Margaret Qualley as well in there.
Yeah.
And Sydney Sweeney before she blew up.
Oh, Sydney Sweeney? I didn't even realize she was in there too.
The people they casted for the Manson family, crazy.
Yeah. What's his name? But guy that played Elvis, Butler.
Oh yeah. Gerard Butler.
Gerald Butler. That's right. This is Sparta.
No, Austin Butler.
Austin Butler. Also, that dude, man.
Yeah.
He's good. He's a good actor. I'm happy to see him doing his thing.
Are you watching anything lately, film or TV?
I would say, let me think. Yeah, I finished Pantheon, the first season, I should say. I finished Pantheon the first season. I have yet to dive into the second season. That show, please don't sleep on that show, anybody. That show is it's only 20-30 minute episodes. It is a cartoon, but it's with some really thought-provoking themes around artificial intelligence and just like, again, just it's pretty cerebral. So, buyer beware. And again, only 20-minute long episodes. I think the first season's like 8, maybe 10 episodes.
Okay.
What about you?
Nice.
What are you watching?
So this is what I was talking about earlier when we were talking about Leo. I went back and watched The Basketball Diaries on DVD.
Oh shit!
Never seen it, but I've always heard good things about it.
I would catch parts of it while ball is life. You know what I'm saying? Ball is life.
It was really damn good, and that was a great performance by Leo. He killed it, unsurprisingly. Man, that is a sad story.
I gotta watch it again, dude. I don't think I've ever watched it from beginning to end. I only caught it as a kid, and it was like, get out of here. This is an adult movie, you know?
Yeah. He had a promising basketball career, kind of gives it all away for drugs and spirals, like he's crashing out and he has to find his way back. So it's a touching tale because you see like all these people that love him and want to help him, and those are the ones that he hurts the most.
Damn.
Crazy. Oh, I also saw a movie in theaters, Weapons, and that is a pretty wild movie.
Weapons.
That's one where all the kids are running like anime.
Oh, yeah.
I think the trailer didn't really do it justice. It looked kind of whack to me, but Brenda was interested in seeing it, so I was like, okay, yeah, let's check it out. And it surprised me. It was a pleasant surprise, I will say. That one, yeah, they got some creepy shots in Weapons, but I like it because it doesn't rely on like the jump scares and it doesn't rely on like gore. It's just suspense and like just weird, creepy, uncomfortable shit.
Oof.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Before I go though, I did want to say, unfortunately, Steph, she knocked out before she could finish the episode. So I was going to tell both you and Steph, I just want to say thank you for being my co-host and being on this crazy adventure with me and helping me build the podcast. It's a lot of fun to do. I still enjoy doing it, and I hope the listeners enjoy listening to it.
Yeah, thank you. Likewise, man. I really appreciate. I love doing this, and I'm so grateful to you for putting all the time and effort that you do into producing it. So making it all possible, uploading it. I love all of the especially when you're talking about Never Been Kissed and the photos you upload to Instagram, all of it. I mean, you do a great job, and it's a lot of fun to be a part of, and you do a great job of asking questions. You just the format, all of it, dude. You really, really grateful to you. So thank you. It's been a fun journey, and looking forward to more. Looking forward to 2026, man.
Hell yeah. A lot more movies to cover.
Fuck yeah.
We're going to have to do Dune 3. That's just a given.
Hell yeah.
Wherever it lands in the year, we're going to have to cover that.
Hell yeah.
And I don't know what else is coming out in 2026, but I'm sure we'll find some good movies. Hopefully some better A24, because I feel like they've been kind of slacking lately, but Neon's on the upswing, so I don't know.
Neon's coming up, man. I mean, they've already won several Academy. I think they already possess more Academy Awards than A24 does.
Yeah, okay.
Could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I saw.
I still need to see Eddington. I'm slacking on that one.
That's right. Yeah, Eddington. Damn. That movie. Yeah, we have to talk about that one. I think we need to.
You want to cover that one?
Do an episode on that one too. Yeah, Ari Aster, man. I mean, he's one of the greatest directors in our generation.
You think that will be an easier episode to do than Beau Was Afraid?
Oh, Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's not a mind fuck. It's not a fever dream. It is okay, well, it kind of is a fever dream at a certain point, but I'll say that yeah, it's definitely got more of a through line than Beau is Afraid did.
Easier to digest.
I don't know if any of Ari Aster's movies are easier to digest. They all sit there like a freaking. You just gotta chew it up. Dude, very few movies fuck me up the way that this one did. I'll say Interstellar. When I left the movie Interstellar, I was a mess because I felt like I had entered into this world so deeply that it was hard to come back to reality because I'm still processing everything that happened and the love between father and daughter. With Eddington, it was like, what? It's really hard to process. We were sitting, my pops and I, afterwards, we grabbed a burger at In-N-Out.
Nice.
And we sat there, and I was like freshly brokenhearted from my relationship, and not so nice. But it was nice to be out with pops. It was nice that he cared and wanted to watch a movie with me and stuff and go out. So it was nice to spend time with him. But there I was, not only in that state, but I was also just like, what did we just see?
I was sounds about right. Sounds like an Aster movie.
I won't say anything more on that for those who haven't seen the movie because we're not getting into that spoiler. But
right, not yet. Anyway,
not yet. We will
soon.
Oh god.
You can find us wherever you normally get your podcasts. New episodes drop on the first Saturday of each month, 5 a.m. Pacific. If you like what you heard, leave us a like, comment, or subscribe. Thank you all for listening and joining Stephanie, Michael, and I. This has been Aflixionados Podcast, episode 58, Gattaca, and we'll see you all next year.
Bye.